double click. And then the first thing that comes up is automatically adjust your screen to make text and movies larger. We recommend going ahead and saying yes. You don't have to. If you say no, you will have a very small window and it's going to be harder to see things depending on how you have your screen resolution. If you say yes, you will automatically resize to a larger window, 800 by 600. And when you quit the program, it will restore what you had before. Okay, you won't be stuck with 800 by 600. So say yes, we recommend. And it'll say it's been adjusted, you want to use these settings, and say yes. Okay, now you have a big screen version of the software. Now, once you are in this screen, do not click begin. If you do, you'll have the long opening and you just have to, you have to wade through a lot of material. Click outside, click away from, I'm clicking right now, away from the begin button, and then simultaneously hold the Shift key, the Alt key, and the I key, and that will take you into the instructor's interface, the instructor's menu. The instructor's menu has the whole layout of the virtual practicum. Just for those of you for whom this is new, there are 3 wings in this virtual sexual assault medical forensic facility. This wing right here is the medical wing, which, and this reflects the 3 roles of the sexual assault examiner has. There's the medical and forensic data gathering. There is an understanding of what happens to the evidence that one gathers and this is the forensic lab area. And then over here is the courtroom area where we cover the other role of the examiner, which is providing testimony in court, either as a fact witness or as an expert witness. Within each of these, when you roll your cursor over an element in this, you will get a rollover menu. Okay, so I just put my cursor over what is probably the biggest section of this program and the core of it, room A, and you can see that up in the I'm not going to move the cursor. Well, it's up there. If I move the cursor, then you lose it. So you'll see now you have a menu. Okay, so room A. Click on that. All right. Now you have a close-up of room A and the 2 different simulations that are in room A. If you click on say you're going to review the first Mary Lang, you click on that. And now you have a detailed menu of each segment that you can get to. And let's say you're going to start here at talking about the concept of consent and the principles behind it. If you click on that,
after documenting personal information,
you go straight
the first step in the exam is getting informed.
And let's say you can go on from there. Now, as you go on, I'm fast forwarding now.
By the way, whether
you can see that this is all about consent. I'm fast
regarding those dual purposes,
and now you get
true.
And now you get to a screen that kind of gives you a landmark of where you are. Okay, so let's say that you say, okay, I'm at. You can let us know that you were at the dual purposes medical forensic activity. Now, another way to do this. So that's one way, is just jump in and you know where you are and then keep track of where you're going as you're going. There is another way to do this that actually we recommend you use. It's not that hard to use. Once you are in, I'm going back now. By the way, so as far as using this goes, you click on an area. Let's say you're going to do, well, everybody's going to do the conference room. Okay, that's this one right here, conference room. And there are 2 roundtable discussions here. There's the controversial issues discussion. We know we are going to change that. Look at it if you want to, but we know we're going to change it, so it doesn't matter if you do it. However, this one, everybody is going to do that. All right, this is where sexual assault response team members discuss the second Mary Lang. Our goal is to retain as much of the original program as we can, which means we want to keep that second Mary Lang case. We may have to alter it, but its general thrust, the circumstances are probably not going to change. And the sexual assault response team members, a physician, legal, law enforcement, victim, and so forth, they gather on the table and discuss the second Mary Lang case as if it were a real case. We want very much to keep that, and we think we can, but we want you to let us know whether that's going to be okay to do. All right, so and now when you're done, you can just click on the go back area, and that takes you back to the overview. So once again, everybody's going to go to this room right here, click on it, and then when you click on Sexual Assault Response Team.
Sometimes the sexual assault response team will convene to discuss a case once it's gone through.
Now, note this. Sometimes there is no scrub bar that allows you to fast forward, okay? But in this case, you can scrub through it, back up, review, whatever you want to do, okay? And then as you go through it,
things kind of unravel for them.
All right.
Roger, you.
Back to overview. All right, so now once you are in the instructor's menu, and getting back to this idea of finding where you are in the program in detail, we recommend you to do this, what we call the developer's blue box. Okay, it's the magic blue box. To access the blue box, you hold down, just as you did before, you hold down the Shift and the Alt keys, but instead of pressing I, you press the letter right next to I, which is H. Okay, this is a programmer's menu. Okay, it's not intended for reviewers. It's not intended for students, and it's set up the way programmers like to set up things. Either a condition is true or it's false. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could turn on the QuickTime scrub bars for every single video by clicking on that to true. I don't recommend you do that. There's only one thing you need to change here, and you go drifting down 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth choice. Developer display enabled, and you'll see false. If you click on anywhere in that line where it's highlighted, watch what happens. Boom. Everybody see it? Blue box. The blue box appears. Now, that blue box can be moved around, it can be resized, you can do anything you want with it. You're only interested in the bottom line. These up here tell you where you've been before. The only one you're interested in is where you are now. And by the way, all the cards, this whole program is organized. We decided to organize it by something called cards. That's all you need to know about cards, okay? But the name of the card tells you exactly where you are in the program. And if you tell us that top level, obviously this isn't the one you would use. But let me show you how you would use it. You go back to the once you've got the blue box, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, click it, now it's false. Now it's true. Click it so it's true, and you got the blue box there. All right. Then you go back to your overview. The blue box remains. Now, let's say we're going to go back, and one of the few people who were actually going to ask to go through all of room A. That's a big commitment. Okay. Let's say we're going back to Mary Lang, and we're going to go look at the principles. Now, remember before, it was kind of hard to tell where you are. You just had like Karen on the screen. Now,
After documenting personal information,
well, then you say, well, wait a minute. Where's the blue box? Watch what I do. The cursor goes up, boom. All right, so all you have to do to get the blue box is bring the cursor up there. And now you know exactly, just look at the bottom line, and you can tell, okay, where I am is room A in Mary 1 in the consent, and this is the second card dealing with consent. So if you tell us room A, Mary 1, consent 2, even if the top of your form says, I'm in room A, remember when you fill out the form and you put where you are? If you say I'm in room A and I'm doing Mary 1, all you have to give us is consent and /consent 2. That tells us when we do go through and say, oh, there's an issue here that somebody pointed out, and this is where they were when they saw the issue. This gives you a very detailed view, and we think it's a pretty straightforward way of getting there. Another example, okay? So
the first step in the exam is getting informed consent. Consent is a very, very important part of patient-centered.
Now I'm going to fast forward.
By the way, Whether we use the term patience,
again. Okay, now.
I mainly use the term patience,
So let's say
and I
just
recommend
saw
that you do the
issue.
same.
Boom. It's at consent. It's like room A, Mary 1, consent/patience _ V. Now, that's all well and good. But there are some times when there's no way to pause the program, okay? And that's when the video takes over the screen and all control is gone, okay?
There's no question that this is a...
And here's an example of that.
Hello. My name's Karen. I'm your forensic examiner.
Okay.
What would you like me to call you?
Now, this
Mary.
is one point
Hi,
where
Mary.
having the scrub
Hi,
bars
Bridget. It's good to see you again.
would be
Hi,
very
Karen.
helpful. Okay, so
Well,
if you
Mary,
turn on the
I
scrub
want to
bars.
give you a little overview of what we're going to
Now,
do today.
anytime you
I'm
have
going to ask you
media
some
playing,
basic
whether it's
questions about
audio
your
or
general
video,
health,
you can fast
some
forward that
questions
video,
about your medical history.
boom, and you're through.
Okay.
And then you can
Mary's
pause
given written...
and you can go to the blue box. Because again, so if you do see video up there with no way to pause, and you see something you want to bring to our attention while that video is playing, you can still get the blue box. You can say, this was right before we were in the room A, Mary 1, consent/consent filled out _V. Does that make sense? I hope it does, okay? What do you think,
Joe,
Josh?
would you do that one more time? We were having audio issues going back and forth. You couldn't quite hear what you were saying over the movie.
Sure. Let me. When should I pick it up?
Pick it up as you go into the movie again.
Okay. Was it clear what I
Hello.
was talking about?
My
Yes.
name's Karen. I'm your forensic examiner. What would you like me to call you?
Okay, so this
Mary.
is an example
Hi,
of
Mary.
what I was
Hi,
talking
Bridget.
about.
It's good to see you again.
We
Hi,
no longer
Karen.
can pause things.
Well, Mary,
No
I
longer
want to
get the
give you a little
blue
overview of
box,
what we're
okay?
going to
While
do
video's
today.
playing,
I'm going to ask you
while
some
video
basic
is the only
questions
thing
about
on
your
the
general
screen,
health, some
and
questions about your medical history.
there's
I'm
no
going to
way
ask you to
control
tell
it.
me a little bit about what
If
happened
you
today.
hit escape,
Then we're going to do a
did you get
physical
this okay,
exam.
Josh?
Yeah, I can hear it now.
Before we
If
start
you
all
hit
of that,
escape,
we need to...
that takes you through to the end.
Okay. Mary's given
Fast
written
forward through the
consent to the
video.
exam.
Now you can pause, get the blue box, and you know where you are, okay?
Yep.
So you can say the video was right before the room A, Mary 1, consent/consent filled out card. Okay,
Yep,
again,
that
if
works.
you have questions, ask Josh, okay? And again, we'll give you that contact information at the end. So to review, okay, I'm going to go into the overview. I'm going to exit the program. And now I am back, hopefully back at my desktop. Now, the second time you run the program, it will not ask you whether you want to resize your screen. It remembers that you, if for some, I don't want to even get, it'll be in the instructions. There's another way to
Right.
launch it so you get that
Yep.
dialogue again, but let's not worry about it. Now I'm going to double click. There's the program. It's loading. And then once you have the begin button, click outside the begin button. And you hold 3 keys. What are they? Shift, Alt, I. Okay, and now you are in the instructors menu. And now to get into the developers memory, it's Shift, Alt, H. You go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Developer display enabled. That's the blue box, the developer display. It's set it false by default. Click on it, goes true. Now you got the blue box. You go back to your overview and you say, you know, I'm gonna look at the courtroom sequence, pretrial preparation. And this is the introduction by Roger, legal terminology, importance of neutrality. Let's go there.
Always keep in mind the extreme importance of maintaining not only the fact.
Let's say there's an issue. We go up, there it is, and we're in the card called pretrial/neutrality _V. Okay, that's about it. Now, what you just saw me do, by the way, is exit the program. So when you're ready to exit the program, just go back to the overview And once again, you can always go back to the overview.
Ideally,
when things like
you
this
should
start
interact with
playing.
both attorneys, prosecute.
Click overview, there you are. Okay, drops you right back where you were, and you can go back to the complete overview. But anytime you've got this instructor's menu up, you can exit the program this way. By the way, if you want closed captioning, you can turn it on here. Okay. Yeah.
One other thing is there's sometimes you can access even more detailed menu that has showed up. And so like if you go there, you'll see the detailed menu button there, and that takes you even more finite.
Yeah, that's another good thing to point out, Josh. If you don't want to use the blue box, this is another way to get a little more finely granular description of what's in the program. In fact, you can really see it in the Mary Lang's. I'm sorry about that, Pop. Let's say you're going to Mary Lang 1 again. A lot of stuff here, but if you go to the detailed menu, even more detail than that previous menu. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Sure.
So that's it. I go back to the regular menu, I exit the program, and there we are. Okay, let me get out of sharing. And so Josh, you want to add anything?
No, I think we're in good shape. Like Joe said, we'll make sure you have my contact information, both phone and email. Try to be pretty responsive within 24 hours at the outside. So just let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be working with Kim and Kathy on this to kind of help shepherd you guys through this process. So really excited to be working with you.
And this will be, well, you probably already know, this will go out in an email that will have a link, a YouTube link or two. Yes. That email will have a set of written instructions that cover all this, what we just covered, actually in some more detail than we just did here.
Yep. Joe, I'm planning on actually just making a web page so that'll have also the written instructions on it and the videos on that page that they can access right there. So
Great.
Make it easy for them to have it all in one place.
Terrific. Super. So thank you all, and thank you all for doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.